We're now joined by our race winner here at the Kansas Lottery 300, also our reigning NASCAR Nationwide Series champion, Brad Keselowski, the driver of the number 22 Discount Tire Dodge, also joined by crew chief Todd Gordon. This is Brad's fourth win and 17th top 10 finish in 2011, first win here at Kansas Speedway. Brad, another perfect driver rating for you at 150, your second perfect driver rating in your last three NASCAR Nationwide Series races en route to this victory here at Kansas Speedway. So pretty dominating performance by you, made it a little interesting there at the end where you had to come back up from a little bit further behind than where you were used to running at the front. So talk about today.
Yeah, the car was just phenomenal. I mean, absolutely phenomenal race car. And it was just one of those races that you're trying to figure out what to do not to lose it. Which is, certainly a blessing to have one of those days, but can be actually one of the tougher days in the car because you know the heat's on you as a driver. So, just trying not to screw it up. Found a couple of ways where I about did, but, got behind Carl there with, I guess it was 20-something to go, and was thinking for a minute there I wasn't going to be able to get back by him, and just kept working it, and finally got by him, and, the strength of our Dodge showed up. So, a great day for us. I thought there was a lot of great racing through the field. Certainly we had the best car, and, there's been weeks where we haven't had the best car. So, just that's the thing about this sport. It cycles back and forth, and today was our day with the best car. And as a race car driver, the expectations that I have for myself is that when you have one of those cars, you make the most of it. And I'm very proud of our whole team that we were able to do that today.
Todd, how about you? It was some anxious moments maybe there, about three-quarters of the way through, but turned out well.
Yeah, I think the team's done a great job and continuing. Brad challenges us every week to make better race cars, and I think through practice yesterday we thought we had speed, but we weren't happy with the balance we had. So we chased ourselves through and really kind of put our heads down and tried to make the car a little better. I think it fired off well. It came back through traffic pretty well. I was kind of anxious there when we stalled on pit road and some miscommunication between Brad and I, but we drove back to the front and didn't seem like the racetrack opened up with several grooves today, and opened up where you could actually race a little bit. But just proud of the guys. Again, to Brad's point, just trying to make sure we don't make a mistake in the pits and cost ourselves and jeopardize ourselves for track position and where we were.
Have questions for either Brad or Todd? We'll bring you the wireless mic. We'll start right here.
Hey, Brad. Todd Palmer, Kansas City Star. This is your second straight win here at Kansas Speedway. Are you just getting comfortable with this track? Why have you been so dominant late this season here?
Sure. There's a couple different things. Obviously, the win in the spring was good, but just continue to learn different things about the track and what it takes to be fast around here. And the track has aged, which is a good thing, to where you can run multiple lanes, and I seem to have picked up on that very well and which lanes serve my car. And I think as a driver too, when you go to different racetracks, and I talk about this a lot with my team and with my crew chiefs. When you go to different racetracks, sometimes you rely on your team to give you that good car. And once you have that first good car, then when you come back time after time after time, you know what you're looking for. And I felt like Kansas was one of those places where I wasn't quite sure what I was looking for the first few years of my career, but after having some success in 2009 and 2010, this is a track that I picked up on what I needed to run well at, and have been able to kind of use that approach, and it served us well, and served me well from a driver perspective, and the team well from a setup perspective. So there's just certain tracks that you pick up on, and then there's certain tracks you go to, and I'd be the first one to tell you, California and Texas, those tracks, I go there every time, and I don't feel like I've ever had a great race car, and I've never picked up on the feel that I need to have. So, as a driver, that's why with the testing ban in the sport, experience is just so important and so vital, because that's how you pick up those feels and improve.
Sean Roney, Dos Mundos bilingual newspaper. You were just talking a few minutes ago, Brad, of being concerned that you might ruin a beautiful car and not win this race. Was there ever a point where that you were relaxed and confident and just said, this is a great car, there's nobody who's going to catch me?
Well, we had a pretty good lead at one point, and you have to fight that, because that's when you make mistakes, and big mistakes, spin out on your own, or when you leave the zone, so to speak, because you're so comfortable where you're at, that can be when it's most dangerous. So there's this famous video I was watching the other day of, I think it was Senna when he was running F1, and he had like a 20-second lead at Monaco, and they told him to slow down. As soon as he slowed down, he hit the wall. And that's because you get out of your rhythm when you either lose focus or change your pace. And so sometimes, and this, the approach I have is to just keep pushing, because sometimes when you don't do that, that's when you get yourself in even more trouble.
Reed Spencer with Sport News. Brad, given the fact that you came from 14th to the lead in less than 6 laps on that one restart, was there ever really any doubt at the end that you were going to get by him?
Yeah, there was to me, Reed. The first few laps when I was behind him, I was pushing so bad in his air that I had some serious doubts. And, I go back to last week at Dover in the Cup car, where I think we ran down the last segment. We restarted 21st or something like that, and drove through all the lap cars, and I ran down the lead pack from straightaway behind in about 4 laps, just 3-4 tenths a lap faster, and caught the back half of the field and slowed down 3-4 tenths of a second, in the dirty air. And I was thinking about that the whole time I was behind Carl there, like, oh my God, this is going to be another one of those days. And, I was able to move my line around, which is, again, a testament to this track and where it's at right now. It's a great racetrack. I was able to move my line around and find clean air. And that's why when you hear all these people talk about why older racetracks are so good, that's why. Because you can move around without losing speed and find air. And then if you are a faster car, you can pass. So that's why Kansas is such a great racetrack as it sits right now.
And next year you get new pavement. So,
what's that?
And next year you get new pavement.
Yeah, I know. It's very unfortunate that that's the case, but because it's really in optimal condition right now.
And secondly, what was going on with you and Carl on that last trip down pit road?
I'm not really sure. Carl was asking me about that. I was just pulling in my pit stall, and he was kind of pushing me. I was already at my speed limit, so I had to slow down. I was over my speed when he was pushing me, and I ran in the back of me and kind of had me all turned sideways. So I'm not really sure what was going on there on his end, but I know on my end I wasn't going to speed with the fastest car down pit road.
Brad, hi, I'm Karen from KNBC TV. When you are up in front and you've got a fast car, how much attention do you give to a guy like Carl who's behind you trying to do everything he can to get around you?
Sure, yeah. I'm always paying attention to Carl. I think you pay attention to the cars that you know are good and the drivers that you know are good. At the start of the race, I paid a lot of attention to Kevin because I thought Kevin would be one of the guys to beat. And as the race progressed, it became obvious that Carl had the one of the best cars as well. So, you always pay attention to him either way, whether he's running second or 15th, because there's something to be learned, and you can get a feel for what pace he can run and adjust your strategy accordingly to make sure you're never in a bad position.
Brad, in your post-race interview on television, you were talking about running twice in a weekend because it actually helps give hope to some guys, helps to give them some jobs to some people who would otherwise be on unemployment. In what ways do you feel like maybe this whole sport and you in particular give hope to the people who are, say, watching in the grandstands or watching in the infield or sitting home watching on television?
Sure. Well, I guess I didn't really do a great job in that interview explaining how I felt about it, but a lot of people give me, quite frankly, they give me shit about driving the Nationwide car. And, you should let Parker drive the car, or you should do this, or you should not run it so that, a Ricky Stenhouse or a Justin Allgaier can win the race. The stealing candy, argument. And it's very frustrating to me because I think there's a much larger picture to this series and my involvement in it than that. And I guess I was trying to clarify that. And it's hard to do sometimes because people kind of see what they want to see. But I feel thankful. You take a guy like Todd who worked at Michael Waltrip Racing. And Todd's a great guy. Obviously built a hell of a race car today. And look at Michael Waltrip Racing's Nationwide program. It's shut down. So a guy like Todd, without this program, is looking for a job. And that's not fair. And it's tough because you sound somewhat, arrogant, or it sounds arrogant to say, but without me driving this car, there's no sponsor. Without a sponsor, there's no team. Without a team, there's no Todd. Without Todd having a team, there's Todd on unemployment. And a guy like Todd's going to find another job somewhere else, but when he does, he's going to push another guy out. So, you know, it's tough, and everybody wants to look at it and say, well, you're running these races just to, you know, make the money or get the fame, whatever. And sure, I mean, I love winning. I'm not going to try and tell you that I don't like winning, but there's a bigger picture than just that. And there's a much larger cause to the nationwide effort at Penske Racing. It's about giving opportunities to people and showing depth and doing some things that I take a lot of pride in. And I guess I was just trying to share that accordingly. But as far as your question about, you know, racing giving hope to other people, you know, racing is and always has been just an escape. You know, I mean, everybody's got their own things in life and own troubles, and racing is a great opportunity to get away from that. And I'm proud to be a part of bringing that little bit of joy to somebody's life. And I'm sure there's somebody out there that had a great time today. If I'd like to think there is, but I know I did. But it was fun.
Todd, you know, we asked Brad about, you know, the pressure of having such a perfect car. You know, on your end, I mean, how much adjustment was there, and how much pressure is there on you to keep it running that well?
A lot. It's these races are almost worse on a box than a race where you're trying to catch up, because you have time. You know where you're at, and you want to make sure that you're making correct adjustments to. You're good enough. You don't want to mess it up. I mean, that's to the focus part is trying to make sure that you're prepared for what should we do at this point. You know, thinking 10 laps ahead if the caution comes out, what happens and what we do and what the rest of the field does, because you're in a position where a lot of people, as we showed at lap 60, the field will play the opposite from you when you're in this position. So trying to figure out where your counter is to where they are and make sure that you don't give up an opportunity like this, because they're rare. They're very rare and special. So you want to make sure that you're prepared for everything that comes.
How much adjustment was it?
We play with air pressure today. When you're that close, you just a little bit of grill tape because of water temperature, and but outside of that, it's air pressure. There's a lot there that you can tune that doesn't stop pit stops and slow them down. So we play with some tire sets and air pressure, and it's good when you've got a car that fires off that fast.
Brad, your answer to the nationwide question invites the question, what do you expect your nationwide plans to look like next year?
I enjoy the Nationwide Series. I try not to get out of turn of where Penske is at as far as their releases, as far as that's concerned, and I don't believe they've released that. Roger has said some things to the effect of, hoping to run Sam full-time in a separate car. I think that's public knowledge. But, I'd love to see to where there's two full-time cars that are capable of competing and being competitive, winning races, and I'm sure I'll be driving at least one of them, and for what amount of races or so forth, I think that's yet to be announced.
Other questions for Brad or Todd? Guys, congratulations.
Thank you.
Good luck tomorrow,
Thank
Brad.
you.
Thanks, everybody.